Hey there, thinkers. Welcome back to Critical Hit. My name is Est, and alright, so hold on to your panties because Phantom Pulse just dropped a bizarre yet somehow predictable bombshell about the Dead by Daylight developers. Apparently, they're allegedly forcing employees to participate in some Wheel of Privilege DEI training. Yes, you heard that right. Wheel of Privilege, like it's some twisted game show where the grand prize is corporate enlightenment. Like, why are they doing this? Like, how does it remotely connect with their game about creepy killers and terrified survivors? Your guess is as good as mine. Maybe it's just an elaborate ARG. Or maybe just someone thought this would spice up the workplace. However, I have a few things to say here, but before I do, we have a small request. If you're new here, consider hitting that subscribe button, smashing that like, and ring the bell to be notified for our next video. We would greatly appreciate this, since this will help us appease those YouTube algorithm gods, so we thank you. Now, let me give you our thoughts on this, and let's get into it. I mean, at this point, it's really hard to be shocked. Like, the gaming industry just keeps finding new ways to top its own weirdness. Like, it's almost like they sat around the table and thought, you know what Dead by Daylight really needs? A lecture on privilege. Because obviously, nothing screams immersive horror experience quite like mandatory DEI training sessions that sound like they were designed by a satire writer. Like, seriously, what the hell is even happening anymore? DEI training? Oh, please. It's got nothing to do with the game and everything to do with making sure every employee knows they're expected to kneel before the almighty ideology. Think of it like a ritual. Sit through the sermon, nod along obediently, and don't even think about questioning it unless you enjoy the thrill of a career suicide. Like, these mandatory sessions aren't about fostering inclusion. They're more like a corporate witch hunt designed to separate the true believers from the heretics. And if you don't pass the vibe check, don't worry, they won't kick you out right away. No. They'll chip away at you slowly, watching for any sign of dissent until you either conform or quietly disappear. The endgame? A utopia of lockstep ideologues who can recite the talking points by heart and won't dare to think for themselves. Sounds like a dream job, right? So, a word on the street is that Behavior Interactive, the brains behind Dead by Daylight, shoved their employees into some Wheel of Privilege DEI training. Like, what the hell is that, you ask? Well, no clue. It sounds like something that you would find in a nightmare HR meeting. And I mean, sure, places like Walmart and Target have been forcing this stuff down throats for years, but now the gaming industry is lining up for their turn to bend over, like pretending it's some revolutionary idea. The mastermind behind Libs of TikTok is back at it. Behavior, a large video game company in Montreal, Canada, made employees undergo DEI training, which included a Wheel of Privilege, teaching that Black people and fat people are oppressed. Oh yes, because it's not enough to have the usual suspects on the oppression checklist. Now we're tossing in fatties into the mix like it's a game of privilege bingo. Apparently, existing in a larger body is now an act of rebellion. This is a level that we've reached. Corporate trainings that sound like they were cooked up in a parody sketch. Like, spin the wheel, land on the fat, and voila, you're a victim. And what's next? Like DEI flashcards with bonus oppression points for lactose intolerance? Like, this is beyond absurd. But you know what? At least Behavior's employees got a front row seat at this new age oppression Olympics. Like, who needs video games when the real show is happening in the conference room? Oh, wow, this is intricate. So let me just take a second to absorb this. So we've got the word power just chilling in the center here, like it's the crown jewel of this whole setup. And then, lo and behold, on the edges, we've got marginalized, as if the margins of society are just overflowing with oppressed people waiting for their moment in the sun. It's like a game of who's in the VIP section of society. And apparently, everyone on the outskirts is getting the marginalized label. But hold up, let's just dig a little deeper here, because marginalized equals undocumented. So are we just casually throwing illegal immigrants into the marginalized box as if that's some kind of ultimate badge of suffering? That's original. But wait, it gets even better. Look, skin color is dark, citizenship is either documented or undocumented. So we've really boiled down oppression to a checklist of dark skin and legal paperwork. That's crazy. Nothing like a neat little formula to sum up the complexity of social justice. I'm just blown away. So let me break it down for you. Power is right in the middle. Citizens, not exactly the picture of oppression, which, surprise, they're at the top. Then there's documented immigrants, not quite basking in privilege, but definitely not scraping the bottom like their undocumented counterparts. At the very bottom, we've got undocumented immigrants, fully marginalized, and of course, we're supposed to feel all kinds of sympathy for them, because that's how it works, right? Oh, absolutely. Because let's talk about how the power structure is clearly laid out. So first we have cisgender men sitting comfortably at the top because obviously they've earned that spot by the sheer audacity of birth. Right behind them, we have cisgender women still holding their own, not quite at the top, and then the real fun begins. We have trans, intersex, and non-binary people who are shoved into the marginalized category because apparently anything outside the binary must be mentally ill in the eyes of those who don't understand basic human diversity. So, just another convenient way to dismiss anyone who doesn't fit into their tiny, outdated worldview. Classic. Oh, and look, we have another Instagram post trying to explain the concept of marginalization with a wheel. Apparently, the farther you are from power, the more marginalized and powerless you are. Groundbreaking stuff, right? It's just a fresh spin on the Kimberly Cranshaw's whole intersectionality thing. So deep. I don't know about you, but these wheels feel like they're a masterclass in excuses. Just a big old justification parade for why people think that their lives are, well, a mess. It always seems like the same tired script. I'm here because I'm black, or the wheel told me so. Because, of course, it's never about taking responsibility or self-reflection. It's all about playing the victim card. And let's talk about the color wheel that they've got going on here, because apparently that's all you need to know about someone's identity. They couldn't even be bothered to get creative with the shades. No, it's just a lazy white and dark categories. Like, who knew that skin tones were so simple? So, Libs of TikTok also reported that Behavior hired Sylvia Duckworth, who's apparently a deep-rooted race-baiting grifter, just to rake in that sweet DEI cash. Sylvia is the embodiment of everything that's wrong with modern entertainment. So isn't it so ironic that it's always a white woman at the forefront of this? Convince everyone that they're oppressed and then play the hero. So Sylvia's post basically should be classified as grooming the next generation of activists. Instead of letting kids grow up with, a variety of ideas, she's all about making sure that they're steeped in trans ideologies before they even hit puberty. Like, the real genius of it, by the time they get to college, they won't even need to be indoctrinated because they'll already have all their activism in full swing. College used to be about intellectual exploration, but why bother with that when you can just mold them into these little perfect progressives while they're still in elementary school? By the time that they graduate, they'll have a super crazy progressive ready to take on the world with no critical thinking required. Like, her Instagram is basically a non-stop parade of race-baiting nonsense, designed to keep Black people stuck in a victimhood corner where they don't have to face any real challenges. Oh, and don't forget the cozy promotion of kids' books, pushing trans ideologies. Real wholesome stuff here. But honestly, this is just the usual song and dance, isn't it? It's all about the virtue signaling to protect their precious power and keep their bank accounts nice and fat. People like Sylvia don't want marginalized groups to actively thrive or find true empowerment. They want them to think that they're the ones with all the answers and that they need Sylvia to survive. It's not about the real change or equality, it's about maintaining control. A self-righteous act dressed up as charity, when in reality, it's just another glorified grift with a side of manipulation. And let's be real here, they're pretty good at it too. However, those are my thoughts on this. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. And hey, before you go, subscribe to our channel, smash that like button, and ring the bell to be notified for our next video. As always, this is Est, and I'm signing off now. So I'll see you in the next one. Toodles!